Hey, what's up guys, SharpTony here, and today we're in the world of Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, one of my favorite places to be. And what I'm going to do for you is, since we have the new Hoenn Power Tins coming out, the trio, Blaziken, Sceptile, and Swampert, I figured I would review each one of the decks that comes with it. Because with each tin you will get a 60 card deck, you will get a code card for a 60 card deck that can be used at any time on Pokemon Trading Card Online. And the first one I want to show you, which is the one I think is the most viable and the best one, is going to be the Sceptile-EX tin. Let's take a look at the Pokemon we have in here. We have the Sap Sipper Bouffalant that for virtually 2 energy could do 80 damage, and his attacks do 40 more damage to your opponent's grass type Pokemon, so that's 120 damage. I've always liked that card. We have this Tropius here. It comes with 2 of them. Not a big fan of it. The card I am a huge fan of, which I wish there was more than one of, is this Beautifly here. Taking a look at this Beautifly, we see its ability, Miraculous Scales. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's EX. So he could just sit there and he could be a wall for EX Pokemon while still putting out some big damage. You have the attack Whirlwind that takes a double colorless energy and a grass energy, and it does 80 damage, and you could have your opponent switch his Pokemon, which I think is an awesome move to have. Then we have a few cards I think are seemingly useless. We have the Yanma, and for 2 energy you could discard for 2 for 30 you could discard an energy, and I think that's absolutely terrible. And then you have the Yanmega, who's only good if you have a lot of switches, or if you need for some reason to shuffle your hand into your deck. But Surprise Strike is a decent attack if you're going to keep switching him around. This Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn. This attack does 50 more damage. That will require switches and all that stuff. That could be really aggravating. But the good thing about him is no retreat cost, so you can keep moving him out. I just don't know how often you're going to be able to keep him alive against EX Pokemon and whatnot. The Illumise is pretty much as useless as it gets. You have 1 for 10 with Confusion and Helping Hand. You can go find a basic energy for one of your bench Pokemon. That's useless. But the card that really got me the most was the Sceptile-EX. And if you look at the attack here, Agility, it's 1 for 20, and it's a coin flip for preventing all effects of attacks, including damage, which I think is awesome, because that reminds me a lot of the Trevgor deck when they used the Excelgor's After Image Strike, I believe. Who won Nationals with that? Gosh, I don't remember the kid's name. But the After Image Strike, which every time you attack, it's a coin flip. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does great when you can't use Strong Slash, which without any boosts is 3 for 130, but you can't use it next turn. But I still think that's a great attack to have. I really like that one. And then taking a look at this, we have 2 potions. The Crushing Hammers and the Enhanced Hammers are always items I like, because you could start really annoying your opponent with discarding his energy. And the Enhanced Hammer will let you, no matter what, discard, maybe a Plasma Energy, maybe a double colorless, something to that effect. You have the Ultra Ball here, which I'm sure most of you know what the Ultra Ball does. Discard 2 cards from your hand and search your deck for a Pokemon, any Pokemon you want, blah, blah, blah. You have the Roller Skates, which turns out to be an effective item, depending on how you use it. Flip a coin. If heads, draw 3 cards. Always good. Professor's Letter you should be used to. That's, you go through the deck. There's only 1 of these cards, but you find 2 basic energy cards. You get a nice Wally, which is an evolution card, but it does not work for EX cards. So that could be good for expediting getting that Beautifly out, because that would be really helpful. Shauna is another good card. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 5. We got Steven. Search your deck for a supporter and a basic energy card. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. I probably like this one the most. It stinks that there's only 1 of them, but what are you going to do? Battle Reporter. This card, again, probably a useless card. This is a really situational card. Draw cards until you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent. If you somehow only have 1 card and he has 7, great, that's helpful. If you have more than him and this card's sitting in your hand, that stinks. You have the Tierno, Pokemon Center Lady. Mountain Ring, which there's only 2 of these in the deck. I don't know how I feel about that, because you don't have any Pokemon doing damage to the bench in this deck, which I guess is the good part. So, hooray for that, I guess. Then you got the Hard Charm, 2 double colorless energies, 6 hollow energy, that looks really nice, and you have 8 regular grass energy. And I think this deck could definitely really be a viable option, because once you get the 2 Sceptiles set up, and also get the Beautifly on your bench, it's going to be hard for your opponent to really start doing any sort of discernible damage to you, especially if he runs a lot of EX Pokemon, because that Beautifly could wall everything. They're going to be coin flipping every time for the Sceptile. This deck definitely struck me as the best, and if you want, you could keep switching in and out this Yanmega because of its 0 retreat cost. There are 2 of them, so you could just keep swapping them out, doing 100 damage, but not the greatest HP, and that's also not the greatest strategy. But it does kind of, you know, take care of effects. This Tropius, as I said before, not too fond of. 4 for 80 really isn't good in this format, especially considering you have a Bouffalant doing 3 for 80, and you discard a special energy attached to your opponent, or you have the 3 for 80 here, and your opponent switches, you can make your opponent switch. So that's my thought on that one. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This is the Sceptile deck, and I hope you guys try it out, and I hope this was helpful. Bye.